Hello, I'm Antony Johnston, creator of Atomic Blonde and author of the Brigitte Sharp spy thrillers. And like all of you, I am really looking forward to getting back to some semblance of normality now that there is light at the end of the COVID tunnel. And not just for book festivals and holidays either. I'm also a screenwriter, I write video games. You may have seen my most recent release, Resident Evil Village, which was something of an internet phenomenon thanks to a 9-foot-tall vampire lady. And I also regularly attend conferences to run workshops and give talks, and travelling to do those things for meetings or working at a studio or what have you used to be a big part of my work. Instead, for the last 18 months, I've barely left the house, let alone the country. That said, I'm fortunate in that I live just about in the middle of nowhere in northwest England, so at least isolation and social distancing has been easy. And if you follow me on social media, you'll have seen that it hasn't stopped me getting out for walks by the canal or up the moors. Really, I'm in a much better position to ride out quarantine than many who aren't so fortunate. So I can't really complain, but I am a bit fed up. So we've been asked to read something on the theme of escape for this series. And I'm going to be a bit metaphorical in my interpretation and read from last year's Brigitte Sharp book, The Tempus Project. Now this is from around halfway through the book when Bridge has infiltrated a hacking group in Tallinn, Estonia, led by the mysterious hacker Roman. But as they're larking about, changing traffic light signals, they are chased and trapped by the local police. Roman slammed on the brakes and threw open his door. "Run!" he shouted. Saskia snatched the Dell from Bridge's hands and stuffed it into her backpack in one swift move, then bolted out of the car on the opposite side. Bridge opened her door, expecting to see Roman waiting for her, but he was already 20 yards gone and moving fast. So that was how it would be. She launched herself from the car into a run, following Roman up a sloping side street, while Saskia ran in the opposite direction. Splitting up would certainly give them all a better chance of losing the police, but having gone to all this trouble to find him, Bridge had no intention of losing Roman again. He was in pretty good shape for a chain-smoking hacker. Normally, Bridge would have expected to catch up inside 30 seconds, given her own fitness training and longer stride, but it was closer to 90 seconds later when she finally reached him, after following a zigzag pattern through back streets that left Bridge completely lost. It didn't matter. Wherever they ended up, her phone's GPS would guide her back to the guest house. Keeping Roman in sight was more important, and he obviously knew Tallinn well enough to guide them to safety. He hopped over a fence, crossed a deserted road, then jumped another fence into an unlit city park. Bridge followed, feet crunching on packed frost, and as her eyes adjusted to the gloom, she realised they were in a cemetery. She stopped, catching her breath in between laughs. Hiding from the police with a boy in a frozen graveyard close to midnight. Great job leaving your goth life behind, Bridge. All she needed was a bottle of Smirnoff and some tinny iPod speakers playing Bauhaus to recreate being 15 all over again. Roman stopped ahead of her and joined in the laughter. "Fucking cops, huh?" he said. He didn't finish because they both heard shouts and running footsteps from somewhere in the cemetery. They crouched behind a nearby crypt, a sizable family memorial, watching bare winter branches break torch beams as they metronomed across the night sky. The police weren't giving up that easily. Roman swore quietly, his face pale and sweating. For all his bravado, he wasn't used to this. Bridge looked around for something to throw, something heavy she could use for a distraction, but a public cemetery wasn't the kind of place you found litter lying around. The closest thing was a flower holder, a heavy brass type designed to withstand an Estonian winter, filled with flowers. One stood at each corner of the crypt. Those would make a proper racket if she could heft them far enough, bring the police over while she and Roman escaped. But on closer inspection, pushing the flowers aside, she saw they were bolted down. She let the flowers spring back, cursing the dry rustling sound they made. Then she smiled. "Give me a lighter," she hissed at Roman. He shook his head. "Wait until we're out. If you light a cigarette now, the cops will see it." "Not a cigarette, you idiot! Give it here!" She held out her hand, and he reluctantly handed her his clipper. She lit it and set fire to the dry, brittle flowers. They caught in seconds. She lit the next bunch, then the next, until every flower around the crypt was burning, flames spitting high into the night. "Go, go!" she whispered. Roman didn't need telling twice. He ran away from the direction they'd come. Shouts and torch beams heralded the cops as they ran to the burning flowers. Bridge made a silent apology to the family, who would probably be horrified at the kind of vandals who would do such a thing. At least she hadn't thrown up over it, which was an improvement over her teenage antics. They ran out of the cemetery and through another maze of streets for a further 5 minutes until Roman stopped to gulp lungfuls of air. No footsteps or lights followed. "Where's the car?" said Bridge. "Forget it. They'll have the license plate. At least we didn't trash it, right? The owner should thank us." Bridge doubted they would, but Roman smiled. "So I guess you're looking for work. There's plenty to go round." "With Maxim?" she said. He shook his head. "Trust me, that would be a very bad idea. I understand you think you want answers, but you should drop it, or the cops will be the least of your problems." No point in arguing when he was on the defensive and thought she needed protecting. Instead, Bridge said, "Give me your phone. I'll enter my number for you." Roman hesitated for a moment, then withdrew a Huawei phone from his pocket, unlocked it, and handed it to her with the contact app open. Bridge raised an eyebrow as she typed in her number. "You do know these phones are basically spyware for the Chinese government?" He shrugged. "And your iPhone doesn't send everything to the NSA?" He took his phone back and walked away. "I'll call you." I mean, who amongst us hasn't found themselves in a cemetery at midnight, escaping from the police by setting fires? I hope you're all well. I hope you all stay well. And I hope to see you all again in person sometime soon. Bye for now.